First, it was vapes. Now, kids are hooked on something you've probably never heard of, and you wouldn't know they're using them. There's no smell or smoke, and these tiny pouches can be up to 20 times the strength of a cigarette.
It's in your face, it goes straight to your head.
A lot of my mates, especially at uni, they're doing it a fair bit.
If we have learned one thing from the vaping crisis, is that we can't just sit around and wait for it to become a crisis.
That is why young people are taking these for the first time. They want that head rush feeling.
It's the new war on nicotine, and there's a new enemy.
Bubblegum, mango, citrus.
Cigarettes, then vapes, now nicotine pouches known as Zins, snus, little lip pillows, and they're getting our kids hooked.
My tolerance is quite high, unfortunately.
Do you think you have a nicotine addiction now?
Yes, I would say yeah.
They're the new craze all over social media.
You leave it for 20-30 minutes.
A ton of professional football players and cyclists do it so they're not inhaling toxic vape chemicals.
The Australian government continues its crackdown on vapes, but nicotine pouches are slipping through, the latest product from the tobacco industry, and it's hit our schools.
I was in high school, a lot of people were doing them, and that's where I initially tried them.
18-year-old Matilda and 20-year-old Jacob have both tried pouches.
You pull it out and it's just like gum. People won't really blink an eye at it, rather than seeing puffs of clouds coming out.
At one point I put 8 in just for the giggles, and it killed my mouth.
You can't see them, you can't smell them. Parents wouldn't know if their child was using one. They're so small and discreet, a student could have one sitting in class or a worker at their desk.
The whole goal is that it's discreet, smells good, and gets you addicted to nicotine.
Becky Freeman is an Associate Professor of Public Health at the University of Sydney. She's been studying vape use in teens for the past 3 years, but she's worried about this new threat.
Pouches keep getting mentioned by kids in the focus groups, that they're buying them from tobacconists, that they're ordering them online, that they're sort of the new trendy thing.
They look like tiny tea bags filled with nicotine and flavouring. They're placed between your lip and gum, and the nicotine is absorbed directly into the bloodstream. But these products shouldn't even be available here.
100%. These are not legal products.
Chewing tobacco was banned in Australia in 1991. Nicotine is a prescription-only product here, meaning pouches can't be sold without a script. Much like the crackdown on vapes, which are now banned from being imported and illegal to sell, pouches fall in the same category.
It's just outrageous to me that a product that is illegal is being advertised so blatantly.
We checked out a number of tobacconists who, along with still selling vapes, also had nicotine pouches.
You leave it in for between 40 to 60 minutes.
Oh, okay.
And it's basically nicotine straight to the bloodstream.
This worker telling us sales are booming.
It's mostly online, so anyone can sort of get it online, but we brought it into stores because a lot of people are asking.
Another telling us pouches are a healthy option.
We can get nicotine without smoke, it's good.
Two of the largest tobacco companies, Philip Morris and British American Tobacco, have created their own brands. British American Tobacco using their pouch brand Velo to sponsor the McLaren Formula One team.
The amount of branding that's been shown to young people that's normalising this product is astonishing.
All of a sudden, over the last couple of months, there's been this real uptick of anecdotal reports from schools, from concerned parents, from other people that have seen young people utilising these pouches.
Dr Jodie Morgan is a chemical toxicologist from the University of Wollongong. She's about to launch a study into the pouches to find out exactly what's inside and how toxic they are.
So here we have one that is labelled as being medium strength, the tobacco one, and it has about 10 milligrams of nicotine in each pouch. And our mint one, the frosted mint flavour that we have here, has 12.8 milligrams of nicotine.
How many milligrams of nicotine would there be in an average cigarette though?
So there's approximately 12 milligrams in the average cigarette, but you only absorb about 1 to 1.5 milligrams of that because most of it's actually burnt when you light the cigarette.
As the market is unregulated in Australia, pouches with strengths of 20 times that of a cigarette have also been found.
What type of health concerns can there be with taking nicotine this way?
Long-term use of these can cause some gum problems, particularly sort of ulceration of the gum. You can get sort of open sores that don't heal. It can cause quite significant burning sensation when you first try to use these as well.
That's what Matisse and his friends found. They're currently on a uni exchange program. While nicotine pouches are new to Australia, they've been using them for the past 2 years in the US.
Among my peers, I would say it's pretty common. When I go out at night, especially in Sydney, you pull them out and everyone has different types.
Users refer to getting nick sick, a head rush from the high toxicity.
And does it hurt your gums?
The first few times, yes, it did. I mean, it hurts your head a little bit more.
How often would you be using a pouch each day?
A few times a day. I wouldn't say any more than 5 times a day.
All three started using pouches to stop vaping. They now realise they're equally addicted.
I would not recommend starting nicotine. Once you start, it's kind of hard to get off.
Tobacco manufacturer Philip Morris, the makers of Zins, is now facing a lawsuit in the US over claims the product is addictive and harmful to young people.
We know that in schools, a lot of young people are deliberately stealth vaping. So that is, they take their vape into the classroom and they deliberately try to vape it in a room while the teacher is there. Obviously, this is a whole different level of stealth.
For decades, smokers have battled to quit. Now a new generation is facing the nicotine challenge, trying to give up vapes and now pouches.
The number one side effect from withdrawal from nicotine is anxiety. And we already have a generation of young people who are incredibly anxious.
I think there's this romantic notion that the tobacco industry has changed, that now they're producing safe products and, we're going to forget about cigarettes. It's absolutely not true.
They might be new, but Australia's Border Force has already intercepted shipments of pouches coming into the country. Too many are still getting through, and health officials are on edge.
It really worries me that I just feel sometimes like we cannot learn anything in public health, that we just keep sort of messing around the edges.
I guess the biggest thing is speak to your children, have a conversation.
And Border Force says it stopped almost 3.5 million tins of nicotine pouches last year. It's only April, and already this year, more than 5 million have been seized and are being tested. It's pretty scary.